Problem 7. What number can be added to -4 to get a sum of 0? So -4 plus what equals 0? This is the same problem as number 6. Any number plus its additive inverse or opposite will give us 0. So -4 plus 4, which means the answer to 7 has to be D. On to 8. Mike deposited 200 into his bank account. So he put 200 in. Then he wrote checks for 20 and 30. Those numbers represent money that's going out. Then he deposits 40. So 40 represents money going in. Which of the following represents the changes in his account? Okay, so he puts 200. So he starts with 200. And we can't eliminate any options. Then he wrote checks for 20 and 30. So money's going out. It's $20 is going out, and then $30 is going out. So we can eliminate C, D, and we can even eliminate B. Then he deposits 40, so that's $40 going in. And the only option is A. Moving on to 9. Submarine's elevation is -14 feet. This can be 0. Shark is -14. I'm sorry. Submarine is -14. A shark is swimming at -56. This is not to scale. What's the difference in elevation? Difference. It's a key word here. Difference between these two numbers. These are all positives, which is fine because we're just looking at the distance here. We can count how many numbers are between -56 and -14, or we can subtract. -14 minus -56. Instead of subtracting, we add the opposite. -14 plus 56. There are more positives than negatives, so the answer is positive. How many more? Well, subtract their absolute values. The absolute value of 56 is 56. The absolute value of 14, or no, -14 is 14, so just subtract those. 6 minus 4 is 2. 5 minus 1 is 4. So 9 has to be A. 10. Somewhat similar. The temperature in Montreal was -8 degrees Celsius. In New York, the temperature was 11. How many degrees warmer was the temperature in New York? So again, we could do a number line, and we'll go sideways on this one just because. Here is 0. Montreal was -8, and New York is 11. So how many degrees warmer is it here? So we could find the difference, which would be 11 minus -8, or we could count. How many does it take from how many spaces between -8 and 0? That would be 8. And how many more from 0 to 11? That'd be 11 more. Or we could set it up as this subtraction. 11, instead of subtracting, we're going to add the opposite, and we get 19. So how many degrees warmer is it? It is 19 degrees warmer. 2, what's this value? I'm sorry, 11. So for 11, we're going to write it out. We have -2 plus 100 minus -50. We're going to change this because we don't like to subtract. So we're going to add the opposite. Now combine the positives, combine the negatives. We only have one negative, it's -2. We have 100 plus 50 is 150. -2 plus 150 There are more positives than negatives, so our answer is positive. How many more positives than negatives? Take the absolute values and subtract them. 150 minus 2. Borrow. 10 minus 2 is 8. So the answer to 11 is B. Number 12, Danny scored 10 points in the final round of the game. He then lost 20 points in the second round. In the final round, he earned 40 points. What was Danny's score at the end of the game? Okay, it's not asking for an expression. Or, hey, which of them look like that? We're actually finding an answer. So we can make this all addition. So if he scores 10 points, so that's a positive 10. If he loses 20, that's a negative 20. And then he earned 40, so that would be 40. So let's just add these numbers up. Once we assign them positives or negatives, we can simply combine them. So we have 10 plus negative 20 plus 40. So combine the positives and combine the negatives. We have 10 positives plus 40 positives. 10 plus 40 is 50, and then we're adding the negative 20. Positive plus a negative. There are more positives. Positive has the greater absolute value, so the answer is positive. Once we know the sign of our answer, we take the absolute values and subtract them. So the absolute value of 50 is 50. The absolute value of negative 20 is 20. When we subtract them, we get 30. So 12 is C.